What is up, YouTube? Today, instead of making beats, I'm going to teach you guys how to do some basic chemistry concepts. So in this video, we're going to be learning how to go from molecules of a substance to moles, and from moles to mass. Now you may be wondering, what is a mole? Well, a mole is similar to a dozen, except it refers to 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd power. So that's what a mole is, okay? And now you may be wondering, how does this even work? Well, it's similar to a dozen. A dozen is 12 of something. So you got 12 eggs. You have a mole. So you have a dozen eggs. You could have a mole of atoms. And a mole is kind of like the standard measurement we use for molecules or atoms or in chemistry. So today I'm going to teach you guys how to go from molecules to moles and from moles to mass in grams, of course. So first thing is we're going to start off with a question, okay? Let's say we have 7.15 times 10 to the 12th power molecules of H2O. And it wants us to go from this to grams. The first thing is we're going to have to find out how many moles of water we have so that we could get to mass. So the first thing we do is we get our molecules. So we have 7.15 times 10 to the power of 12 molecules and what we're going to do is we're going to times this. So we're going to put a times symbol there, and we're going to times this by the unit we want to get on top, which is moles. And even though they sound similar, moles does not equal molecules. Okay, very important that you guys know that. Moles do not equal molecules. Okay, back to our equation. So we're laying it out. We want to get rid of molecules and we want to get moles. So we're going to times it by mole. 1 mole. And then we're going to divide it by our number of things in a mole, which is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd power. So 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd power molecules. Now, what we're going to do here is we times it by mole. So our unit we're going to have at the end is moles. And the unit that's going to cancel out is molecules. So these two are going to cancel out. And then we whip out our calculator and put in our equation. So 7.15 times 10 to the power of 12 divided by 6.02 times 10 to the power of 23. And now for our final answer, what we get is 1.1877076 times 10 to the power of negative 11. But you got to remember, we're doing chemistry, so we got to use sig figs. So an easy way I like to remember it is, since we're doing multiplication, we're going to keep the original number of sig figs that we had in the beginning. So we had 3 here, 3 here. We're going to keep the original minimum number of digits. So our minimum number, well, we got 3 digits here, 3 digits here. We're going to go with 3 digits. So it would come out to 1.19 times 10 to the power of negative 11 moles of H2O. And we don't write moles like M-O-L-E-S. We write mole. It's just the unit for moles. It's very similar though. It's easy to get confused. Yeah, so now that we have it in moles, we could go to mass. And now you may be wondering, how are we going to get to mass? We don't know how many moles are in a gram of water. But we do. There's a little thing called the molar mass, which is a substance's grams per mole. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to calculate the molar mass of water. So, let's scroll down a little bit. We're going to go... So, this is pretty easy actually, because it's on the periodic table. So, we have H2O. We have 2 H's, and we have 1 O. So, our H's are 1.0 grams per mole. Times 2. Because we have 2 H's, which is equal to 2.0 grams per mole. Now, our oxygen, well, we have 16.0 grams per mole. Which is equal to, 16 grams per mole. And now since we are calculating for all of H2O, right, what we need to do is add up our molar masses. So 18.0 grams per mole is the total molar mass of water. So in every mole, remember 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd power molecules of water, there would be 18 grams. Moving on. What we could do now is we could use our beautiful grams per mole conversion in this equation. So, what we're going to do is we are going to times this. Since we want to get to mass, we're going to put grams on top, and we are going to put moles on the bottom. We're going to put so, now what we're going to do is we are going to put grams on top and moles on the bottom. And since we have our ratio, 18.0 grams for 1 mole, we have 1 mole on the bottom and 18.0 grams on top. And now, as we saw in the other equation, moles cancels out. And now, we times our answer by 18. So, 1.19 times 10 to the power of negative 11 times 18. And now, we get 2.142 times 10 to the power of negative 10. Thing is though, sig figs, most important part of all this. Sig figs are very important. Since we're using sig figs, since we are in chemistry, we gotta round it to 3 sig figs because that is the lowest number of sig figs that we are starting with, and we're just doing multiplication. So we are going to do 2.14 times 10 to the negative 10 grams. Very important you keep the units. It's easy to get lost. So, you have just learned how to go from molecules to moles and from moles to mass. That's fantastic, but now, how are we gonna go back? Well, let's find out. So, starting a new document, let's say we have 12.0 grams of chlorine. So, and we want to get it to molecules. So as you remember, we're going to have to go from grams to moles and from moles to molecules. So what we got to do is first we have to get our molar mass for chlorine. So the chlorine formula is Cl2. Cl2. So the molar mass of Cl is 35.5 grams per mole. And since we have two of them, we times it by 2, it becomes 71.0 grams per mole. So, we have our molar mass of Cl2. How do we get 12.0 grams of chlorine to moles and then from moles to molecules? Well, it's pretty simple. First, you want to line up your first equation, 12.0 grams of chlorine then we want to times it by the unit we want to get. What do we want to get? We want to get moles. So we're going to put moles on the top, 1 mole, because that's what it is in our ratio, and we are going to put 71.0 grams on the bottom. So 12.0 divided by 71 gets us 0.169014. No, it doesn't get us that. We have to use sig figs. We're going to use 3 sig figs, so we're going to get 0.169 moles of Cl2. And now we want to go from moles to molecules. And remember, there's 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd power molecules in a mole. So what we do is we're going to do exactly that. So we're going to set up our equation. Moles on the bottom, of course. And of course, 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd power molecules. And then this will get us finally our final answer. So put it in the calculator. And for our final answer, we get 1.01738. No. We get 1.02 molecules. No, 1.02. Sorry, I forgot the end. Times 10 to the power of 23. Very important you remember this because it's a big difference. Molecules. Of Cl2. And there you go. There you have it. In this video, you've learned from a guy who does FL Studio, who makes D-Rich Zaytoven beats. You've learned how to convert mass to moles and moles to molecules and the other way around. Yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. I hope you learned a little trick or two in this video, even if you already know how to do the mole unit. And if you didn't, then yeah, good luck on your test. You're probably using this to study. And while you're at it, go check out some of my other beats. I do beat tutorials and stuff like that. And comment down below if you want to see me do a tutorial on literally anything else, to be honest. I could do beats, or I could do academic stuff as well. I could do, you know, a bunch of stuff with chemistry, physics, anything. Just comment it down below. Thanks for watching.